Okay, so we know that t can equal 7 or 2, right? If t can equal 7 or 2, and if h is 7 and r is 2, then that cancels out both of the values, right? And if that cancels out both of the values, then t is not possible. So we know that h cannot equal 7 and r cannot equal 2. Does that make more sense now to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just fill in the values that we had from before. Okay. So then remember our thing where r can either equal 3 or 2 and h either can equal 8 or 7. Do you guys get why h can only equal 8 or 7 and r can only equal 3 or 2?
Is it because those are the only values left?
Yeah, partially. Because if you think about it, if a is 5, then if you do 5 plus 6, you get 11, right? And that's not possible because we already know m is 1. So then that means it would have to be greater than 6. And since 9 is already taken, then that means our only options are 8 or 7. And then for r, if we have only the options of 8 or 7, 8 plus 5 is 13, and 7 plus 5 is 12. So then r can only equal 3 or 2.
So does A and H both have to be greater than 6?
A and H, yes. Because, no, actually, A could be 6, and if H was 7. But we know that A is 5, right?
Yeah. So it has to be greater than 7?
Mm, what do you mean has to be greater than 7? H has to be greater than 7? Do you mean that? Viraj, what were you?
So, like, does A and H together, like the sum of A and H, have to be greater than 10 or greater than 9? Because it
Yeah,
has to carry over one?
the sum has to be greater than 11. Because
Okay.
if it was 1 over here, that wouldn't make sense, right?
Because R can't be 0.
R can't be 1 or
Yeah,
0.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it has to be 12. A plus H has to be 12 or higher.
12 or 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Uh-huh. And then since we know that it can't be 7 or 2, then H is 5 or 8, sorry. And then R is 13. So now that we have those values, we still know that T is 7 or 2. So, and we know it's 4 over here, and then 0, 5. So first, let's try 2 and 2 over here. If it was 2 and 2, 2 plus 2 is just 4, right? And then the leftover values, if we fill in everything, we only have 6 or 7. Does everybody get that? What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So since we only have 6 or 7, if over here, if we put 6, 6 plus 5, already we know that wouldn't work because it would be 11, right? And 7 plus 5 is 2, right? And we already took over 2. So we know that t cannot be 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then t would have to be 7. And since 7 plus 7 is 14, we would have a carryover of plus 1 from the last column. And now since we have a carryover, let's fill in all the values first to figure it out. So 3 and then r, and then we have 9 over here, and then r. So now what we have left over is N and G. So we can, over here, we can try N as 6 because the values we only have left are right now. Can anybody else tell me the other value than 6?
2.
Yes, so 2. Because does that make sense? Because 6 plus 5 is 11. But since you have a carryover of plus 1, then that would be 12, right? So then everything would make sense and work, right? And if we tried it the other way around, N as 2 and G as 6, that wouldn't make any sense, right? Because since we have the N plus 2 plus 5 is 7, and that wouldn't make sense. And we have another carryover plus 1, 8. So that wouldn't make any sense. So we know that N has to be 6.
But if 6 plus 5 plus the carryover of 1 is 12, and you carry over the 1 to the I and E column, then how is 1 plus 9 equal to 15?
That's not a 9, that's a 4. Sorry.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Okay.
I think I just read it.
Yeah, I'll write that a little better. Okay, that's a 4. Yeah. And then let's fill in the rest of the values. So 6 would be N, and then 5 would be A, and then 1 would be M, and then 3 would be R, and then 4 would be E, and then 2 would be G. So German Marine Freight. So does this make sense to everyone, or is this still confusing?
It sort of makes sense, kind of, a little bit.
Okay. So what is not making sense? Let's try to clarify that.
Like the carryover, like how do they carry over to the other side?
Okay, so for example, let's have something. If we have 6 plus 5, right? And we have 11. Do you get, because we have a carryover over here plus 1, right? Do you,
Yeah.
do you get it now, like carryover, why we have
Yeah. But then, oh wait, no, never mind. I get it now.
Okay. And if you guys don't get it completely, that's okay, as long as you have a good understanding, because we'll do another example, and these type of ciphers, you have to have a lot of practice, and then as you keep practicing, then you'll start to understand it. On the first one, it is a little bit hard to understand it though. Okay, let's continue on to the second one. Okay, so we would always start off by filling in our values. So let's first try A as 0, or sorry, 1, and then U as 0, and then 9. Everybody gets these 3 values, right? Why they're there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then 1, oh wait, this is not 0. Okay, 0 is U, not A, and then 1 is A. Okay. So now what we'll try is, first we know that A over here is 1, right? And we have 2 options. So S can either be, there are more options of this. So first, right now, we'll just keep these options. So S can either be 5 or 6. L can be either 5 or 6. And you can also have actually another pair as 8 or 3. Does that make sense, like why we have these two pairs?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we know that no matter what two pairs we would have to have a carry of +1, right? So first, let's try 5 and 6. For S, S as 6, and then L as 5. Let's just try that out and then see how it goes. So S would be 6, and then if S is 6, then we would have to have R greater than 12, right? Because it can't be 12 because I cannot be 6, right? Because I cannot be 6 because 6 plus 6 is 12. So I has to be either 7 or 8, and it can't be 9. So right now, let's try I as 8, and that would be 4, right? Because the reason why we'll not put R as 3, because if I was supposed to be 7, the reason why we don't put I as 7 and we try it as 8 first is because if we have 4 over here and we put instead 3, then if we have 1 as A, right? 1 plus 1 is 2, and E cannot be 1. E cannot be 1 because A is 1, right? So we already have the values, so R has to be 4. Does everybody get why R has to be 4? Anyone, do you get why R has to be 4? Do you have any questions?
Yeah.
And then, since R has to be 4, what's 14 minus 6? That's 8, right? So then we can put I as 8. And then if we try this out over here, so this is kind of what I'm showing you guys. It's actually not correct what I'm doing right now, but I'm just trying to show you guys how you kind of make sense as you keep going, even if you didn't get it correct the first time. So does I oop blank R? I don't think that makes sense. I don't think there's a word like that. So then we know that R has to be 4, right? That's confirmed, and that has to be there. So then what we add to get 14, we can change that around. And the only two values right now that we have that can get 14 in this case is 6 and 8, right? Does everybody get how this is going? Yeah, okay. So since we can only have these two values in this column be 14, then we know S cannot be 6 and I cannot be 8, right? Because we know that doesn't make sense and it kind of jumbles it around. What if we just switch the values? So what if we put I as 6 and S as 8? And wouldn't that work? Because that's another one of our pairs, right? So we know that could work. So let's try putting S as 8 over here. And we can just cross out these two values. So S is 8 over here. And then 11 minus 8 is 3, right? So we would keep 3 over here. So let's fill in that. Okay, and Ananya, Ananya, can you explain why we got L as 3?
I got like a little confused.
Okay. Do you get why we got S as 8 and I as 6?
S is. Oh yeah, 'cause like it needs to carry over, and there's a 4 on the bottom.
Do you get why R is 4 first? Ananya?
Not really.
Okay. So R would be 4 because we know that A is 1, right?
Yeah.
So then we have E over here. If we put R as 3, then 1 plus, we have to have a carryover from here, right?
Yeah.
So, and the reason, do you get why we have a carryover? Because it's 1 over here and it has
Yeah.
11. Yeah. Okay. So if R was 3, then if we had 1 plus 1 already equal to 2, then we can't have E equal 1. Because why can't we have E equal 1? Ananya, do you get that? Because E can't equal 1 because A is 1. So we can't have
Oh.
two letters be the same number.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so then that crosses off. R can only equal 4. Do you get it? Why? No?
Yeah.
Okay. So if R can only equal 4 and we tried out I as 8 and S as 6, and that doesn't make any sense because I ooper doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
So then what if we just switch the values? Because we know that R has to be 4 because if R was 3, that wouldn't work, right?
Yeah.
So then what if we just try switching the values, and that's what we did. So that's why I is 6 and S is 8.
Oh, okay. I understand a little more now.
Okay, and then now we're going to move on to L. So like I was asking you, Nanya, why would L be 3?
Um,
Because do you get that we have 11, right? So what's 11
yeah.
minus 8?
Oh, so then you do 11 minus 8 and then that's 3.
Yeah, do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So then now we have L as 3. So we filled that out over here. So then now let's try to find E, because we know we have a carryover, right? So let's try to do an equation. 1 plus 1 plus blank equals 4. So hey Mom, what would the blank value be?
2.
Yeah, because 2 plus 2 is 4. So then E would be 4. Or sorry, 2. So then this kind of makes sense. As we're going, maybe if it's not correct, then you can know because super is a word, right? So then that makes sense. So then we kind of know we're on the right track. And then now that we have E as 2, we can try to find N and O. Okay, so the only two values we have left are 5 and 7. So this time when we have only two values left over, we just try them and we can just switch them around, which would be faster. So using our common knowledge, we can try O as 7 first. Because if N was 7, 7 plus 2 is 9, right? And O can't be 9. So we have to try O as 7. And then that means 7 minus 2 is 5, right? So then N would be 5 and 7 would be O. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, okay. Do you guys have any specific questions? Something that was confusing in this certain cipher? No? Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, Anonia, how much would you rate you get this cipher? 10 being you get this perfectly.
Probably like 5. But I feel like if I practice this a lot, then I definitely understand.
Okay, do you think you would be able to get this cipher if you were just be able to do it by yourself?
Maybe?
Maybe. What do you think is like confusing? Maybe I can help.
Um, I don't exactly know. Like, I now get like how to carry over and like why P is 9 and A is 1 and like those things.
Hmm. Do you think it would help if you just kept practicing?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And then Raj, what's your number for a scale of 1 to 10?
Like a 7 or maybe an 8.
Okay. And then for you, it's just practice, right?
Yeah, if I get to do one by myself and then kind of guess and check and see how it works, I think I'd be able to understand it.
And then Hema, you?
Yeah, I would say around a 7 too, and with practice I can obviously improve that, like the other two.
Okay, yeah. And then I was actually thinking, do you guys think you can try this on your own?
Sure. I might not be able to get it, but I can try.
Yeah, same. It'll probably take some time, but I think I'll be able to get it.
Yeah, same.
Okay, then go ahead and try to do it I'll give you guys 2 minutes, and then after that, then let's just try going through it together. Actually, I was wondering, do you guys have time to finish the cipher like another around 8 minutes, or do you guys have to go because we went overtime today?
I've gotten a little bit of it. I just gotten confused on one section.
Okay. Where are you confused?
So I rewrote it as iodide over oxide. That way I could like see the things like the way you taught us. So I know that I is 9, but I plus I being 9 plus 9 is 18, so it can't equal. Oh, wait, no, there has to be a carryover of 1 to make it 19. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. But do you guys are free for a little bit more time, right?
Yes.
I have like 5 more minutes, and then I have this other thing.
Okay.
I have like until I think 5:30.
Okay. And Nanya, what about you?
Yeah, probably 5:30 because I have to go somewhere.
Okay. Heyman, after you can just leave when you have to go,
Okay, yeah, thanks.
and then I'll just keep the answer, or you can just try it by yourself. Okay. So we already know these values, so we can just fill those in, and then C is 9 and H. So then we know that since 9 plus 9 can't equal this, so that means there would have to be a carryover of plus 1. And then so this D plus D would have to be a carryover plus 1, right? So let's try to brainstorm some values for D first. So D cannot equal 9. We already know that D cannot equal 1. And D has to be greater than 5. Does anybody get why?
Because if D was 5, then S would be 0, but H is already 0.
Yeah, correct. So that's why D has to be greater than 5. So D could be 6, and then D could be 7, and then D could be 8, and then it can't be 9. So let's try putting 6 first. D is 6. If we try putting D as 6, then we would get S can either equal 3 or 2. The reason why I don't say 2 right away is because we don't know what E is yet. So we can't really assume that S would be 2 right away. That's something that you can get confused on. Okay, so now we know that D could be 6, right? So we shouldn't fill that in yet, but let's just keep that in mind. Okay, so if D was 6 over here, then 6 plus blank would have to be a carryover, could be a carryover of 1. It doesn't have to be a carryover 1. Actually, never mind. It has to be a carryover of 1 because, yeah, Nanya, your question?
Sorry, but like my mom came in and she said we have to go now.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Raj, do you want to continue going, or do you want
Yeah, of course, I'd love to.
to? Okay. So basically, now that we know D is 6, right? So let's try some values for M. And then over here, you know O plus O cannot equal O plus O. So let's try to, so if we do O plus O, we can either have O plus O equal, for example, let's try actually 7. So 7 plus 7 is 14, right? So do you see how we have the same number plus itself equals a different number? So O has to be a kind of value like that. And
What do
then,
you mean by that?
like, for example, if you do, what's a good example? Like, do you get like if we have a number plus itself has to be a different number, but in this case, actually, that would work for everything because we're not doing it in 3. Okay, yeah, just ignore that, but O can be either 7 or 8 because it can't be 5, right? Because
Yeah.
if it was 5,
It'll become 10.
Yeah, and it can't be 6 because we
Because we
already
already have 6. And
Yeah.
it can't be 9 because we already have 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then now let's try O as 8. And then this would make sense, right? Because if we have O as 8, we would have 16. So E could either be 6 or 7 if we have a carryover.
Yeah.
Right?
But if we're assuming D is 6, it can't be 6 then. So E would have to be 7.
Yes.
Okay. How do we know if we're right?
So
Because D isn't related to O at all. So we can't say that O and D are related.
what do you mean by related?
So D has no correlation to O, right? Like D doesn't affect O.
D plus X does affect the value of O.
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah.
But we can't. Is there a way to check that though? It's too far back. We can't check. We'll have to find M first or X if we want to check those two. Do we
Yeah.
just have to check with the word?
Yeah, that's what we
Okay.
have to do. So we kind of have to check if it makes sense. And HID, couldn't that just be hide? Don't you think
Yeah.
so? Right? Because that
And
makes
it would make sense because E becomes 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of how you have to like keep going. And then T would be 4. And then this would all kind of come as making sense.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then X
Then we have 1. We don't have 2 yet. And then 2 is probably M because
Yeah.
it's 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have all of them then.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you get how it like you just have to check it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any questions?
Not specifically. Yeah, I think I get